Hey everyone, I'm James Razile, and this is Digital Charcuterie. If you are looking forward to Ready Player One, if you loved the book Ready Player One and just want to hear things about it, please subscribe to this channel. I will be talking about it every once in a while. If you also like Star Wars, superhero movies, dramas, comedies, horrors, all that stuff, I'll be talking about it. The channel is new. We're starting to roll out now. Tomorrow is Tuesday, Super Tuesday, where we talk about superhero news, and it is looking to be a great day tomorrow. Fantastic Beasts 2 trailer is going to be dropping tomorrow. There is an Avengers Infinity War behind the scenes dropping tonight, Monday night on Entertainment Tonight. So we get to see that. We'll talk about that. Possibly a trailer for Avengers Infinity War tomorrow as well. If that happens, I'll be doing a reaction. And I'm looking to get Josh from the Den of Nerds. Actually, 100%. We'll have Josh from the Den of Nerds. He'll come on and we're going to talk about Avengers Infinity War as much as we can. And also there will be the regular Super Tuesday show because cool things are coming out on that front as well. But right now I want to talk about Ready Player One. I love the novel Ready Player One. I think most people do. It's very nostalgic. It throws you in. It is a fanboy, fan book, fangirl, fan book that appreciates fanboying out. That's basically what it is. And if you've seen when the trailer dropped at San Diego Comic-Con this summer, if you watched, the author, Ernest Cline, he was with Entertainment Weekly, I believe. Entertainment Weekly or Entertainment Tonight? It was one of those two. I can't remember. And he did a breakdown of the trailer, and he was geeking out over it. The love he has for the material that he created, and he did co-write the screenplay too, which is very cool. Had a lot of conversations with Steven Spielberg about it, so you know the story is going to be up there. Now I got into a lot of poop, a lot of shit, because my trailer reaction for Ready Player One, it didn't blow me away. None of the trailers for this movie have blown me away. And reading the book, I said almost after every chapter, every page, I said out loud and to myself, this should, this is before the Spielberg announcement, be a better film than a book. That's how I felt. As much as I liked the book, I was just, when I'm watching, like, this has the capabilities of being something better, like a visually stunning. This could be a lot grander. So I was very excited about that. Then they hired Spielberg, and my initial reaction was, yeah, Spielberg, you can't get better than that. And I know a lot of people feel that as well. And like I said, and my reaction, I got a lot of crap for this too, is I'm very torn on it. I understand the excitement of Spielberg is there, and you know, he is the best director alive today. And I say that, and you can argue that. I mean, it's subjective. You can argue whatever you want. But the thing with Spielberg that I think we forget, and when we shouldn't, is he, like, you know, when I watch Bridge of Spies, I'm like, it's very by the numbers. But Spielberg created the numbers. So is it by the numbers if Spielberg does it? And I really like Bridge of Spies, to be honest. So this is how I feel about Spielberg. But Spielberg lived the 80s. He worked in the 80s. He kind of created the 80s that we are all nostalgic for. The nostalgia we feel for the 80s is because of Spielberg. So he doesn't have that nostalgia being brought into it. That being said, he hasn't done a popcorn film in quite a while. I guess maybe Indiana Jones might have been his last one. I can't think of. I mean, the BFG doesn't count. So like an action kind of one, and you know, he hasn't done one in a while, and when he did it, he was masterful at it. I mean, Indiana Jones and the Crystal Skull, you can think whatever you want, but before, you know, Raiders of the Lost Ark, obviously. I'm gonna go on board with Spielberg, and then look, the one thing to really work its way into how I felt was when he presented the movie at South by Southwest. He said he calls this a movie, not a film. And again, that goes to Spielberg, how he's kind of gone away from doing these because he's more in the dramatic sense. He's matured as a filmmaker, obviously, and that's how he views it. He views this more as the popcorn experience than a full-blown film. And that, you know, and he got Alan Silvestri to do the music, which I'm hearing from these reviews that we're going to get into in a little bit, we'll kind of get into them, is a fantastic score. And side note on Side Akbar, as we say at Rebel Scum Podcast, on Alan Silvestri. If you don't know this story about Alan Silvestri and Steven Spielberg, it's one of my favorites. And this comes from, it's not the commentary because he doesn't do commentaries, but Robert Zemeckis doesn't do commentaries is what I'm saying. It's on the Back to the Future 20th anniversary box set. If you got that, I think it's the 20th anniversary. It's remarkable. And what it is Zemeckis talks about how he wanted Alan Silvestri to do the score for Back to the Future. And Spielberg was adamantly against it. He said, no way are you using Alan Silvestri for this. He's not talented enough. Anyway, Zemeckis decided to use Alan Silvestri anyway, puts it on there, and they showed Spielberg a cut of the film with temp music. Now, temp music, if you don't know, is you just put random songs throughout, and usually it's nothing that's going to be in the final cut of the movie. So if you were to do an action scene, you might put the Superman theme in a scene just as a temporary. You're like, here's the idea of what it'll sound like. But in this rough cut that they showed Spielberg of this assembly edit, they sliced in some of Alan Silvestri's score, unfinished, but some of his score that they'd use. And while it was on, and it came in the big, Back to the Future music starts playing, Spielberg nudges Zemeckis and he goes, that's what the score needs to sound like. And Zemeckis said, good, because that's what it is. And so that's kind of Silvestri starting the whole thing, and Roger Rabbit's awesome. Silvestri obviously works with Zemeckis, but he has this history with Spielberg. Got off to a rocky start, but that's kind of cool. So anyway, it debuted at South by Southwest to thunderous applause is what it is. Thunderous applause. People loved this movie. Now, take that as you will, because don't forget, this is a festival. Spielberg is there. People are already hyped to see it. So it's a different kind of atmosphere. It's kind of like, it was a premiere, technically. So you think of it as a premiere. People don't hate the movie they're seeing at a premiere. So there was you're going to hear a lot about there was an ovation and people loved it, and they did. They genuinely did. I believe that. However, also have to take into consideration what I just said about people having way too much fun while they're there. They're in it. They're not going to not like it. And then you look at the reviews, and I've got to be honest, these reviews on the Twitter reactions I'm going to be talking about. No one in particular. I'm just going to generalize it, but the positive ones are I like them a lot, actually, because they weren't like best movie I've ever seen. I mean, some of them were, but for the most part, they were like, look, didn't know what to expect seeing this, wasn't looking forward to it. I was really surprised. If you want it, and then some of them were like, if you want to hate this movie, you're going to be disappointed because it's enjoyable. Other people said, they're like, it wasn't for me, but it's for my kids. The younger people are going to love it, which I'm curious about. And then there were the ones that absolutely hated it. And when I read those ones, because I want to know if you liked it or didn't, and I want you to be honest in your opinion. And I don't want you to say, I loved it, because you're a fan of the book and you're afraid not to like it. And I don't want you to say you hated it because you resent all things computer animated, except for Pixar films, obviously. So I looked at these ones, and I've got to be honest, the dislikes on it kind of threw me for a loop a little bit in regards to, they seem like butthurts, really. Like, they just didn't want to enjoy it, and they didn't. I really respected the ones that said, it wasn't really for me, it's for these people. But there were other ones like, I just hated everything about it. This is blasphemy. It is not good. It's propaganda, blah. And it just, for me, it felt like they're forcing the hate because it's hip to be that way. And I don't want to see that. That being said, I haven't seen the movie myself, so it could be garbage. I don't know. But, and like I said, I'm not crazy about the trailers that they've debuted for this. They're not my cup of tea. But the TV spot, I saw the TV spot. I wasn't watching TV. It was on, though. When I walked by and it came on, I stopped and I watched it, and I was like, that is a movie I want to see. That excites me. So that's where I am. Look, it's tracking at, I think, $35 million right now, which is not a great number to open with. I'm curious to see if the reaction from South by Southwest will affect that or not. I don't think it will. Now, if it's a great movie and word of mouth catches, it could grow, but it doesn't have much time between now and Avengers. Avengers is less than 50 days out, and that thing is that is Thanos literally on every other movie that's coming out around it. So I don't know. Is it going to bomb? That's a tough question to answer. It's going to be tough for it to recoup. If it opens at 35 like they're predicting, it's going to be really tough for it to recoup. And if people feel like I did about the trailers, and I know from the reactions that I got to my reaction, you are not. But I just don't know if everybody is excited for it. You look at a movie like Wrinkle in Time, it opened to $33 million, and it's not. Now, they're saying 25 and younger absolutely love the film, so they're waiting on word of mouth in the following weeks to see how it holds up week to week. But Everyone that I've talked to that has seen it has not enjoyed that movie. And you've got a name like Spielberg versus Ava DuVernay, who, one name every single person on the planet has heard of. The other one, I think moviegoers more than anyone else has heard of. And it's going to open to the same as that. I'm really curious to see what it is. But I want to know what you guys think. Are you excited to hear that it's getting good reviews at South by Southwest? Are you going to see it opening weekend? Or are you going to wait to hear what critics say, or what I like to do? Not what I like to do, but I rather listen to what my friends say than critics. But I would also like to, people that I trust. There are critics that I after watching them, you're like, oh, I really respect that person's opinion. They know what they're talking about. So I shouldn't really generalize it like that, but you know what I mean. Like, are you going to wait to hear it from the people you want to hear it from, or is this enough to sway you one way or another? Are you going to go see it opening weekend? Did you read the book? Did you love it? Anyway, guys, thanks so much for watching. Later tonight, I've got a video about the end of Star Wars. The end of Star Wars. How they're going to wrap up the Skywalker saga in Episode 9. Thanks so much, guys, for welcoming me into your home, your phone, your bus ride, your car ride, just, eyes on the road. And all of that stuff means a great deal to me. Please give us a like and a subscribe on this channel. And until next time, ciao for now.